Oh yes, friends. Oh yes, I figured it out. It was fairly stupid on my behalf. Not surprising. Not really surprising. I'm not that bright. But anyway, Darkest Hour, it's worked. So we're going to take a quick look at my Japan game, just because I really want to show off the game. You know, very interested in knowing how interested you guys are in as well, because we could always start a new nation. Who knows? Who knows? So we'll hop on over to our single player game. We can see that I have been a little busy. Japan has moved along. It is November 2nd, 1945. That is right. And if you take a look at the nations up here, these are the remaining sort of major powers slash minor powers that are remaining at this time. Keep in mind, there's every country in the world in this game at that time, obviously. And you'll notice Germany is gone. Yes, we talked about it briefly before, but the Soviets moved in and took Germany out. It was tragic. I really needed Germany to win so that I wouldn't have to deal with the Russians. I am Japan. So we're going to take a look at the situation that I have here that's going on. Anyway, we'll just get rid of all this and we'll talk about the game a little, because I understand that not many of you are going to understand what's going on here. So they're probably at the end of the video. I'm going to try not to lose track of time, so I'm going to try that. You know, there might be a little bit of actual gameplay here. I just want to explain some things first. So first of all, you know, we're looking at Japan here, right? So we can zoom in and out. So we're going to zoom out all the way, and we're just going to take a look at the world. And each nation is color-coded depending on the type of nation, or sorry, depending on, you know, which nation it is. So you'll notice right here, blue, this is USA. Yep, they do have that island. Funny story over that. We might get to it, but anyway. Over here, see, this is the United States, obviously. Canada, we've got Mexico. You've got all your South American countries down here, Caribbean countries. Cuba, if you really wanted to play Cuba, you could do it. Keep in mind, at this point in time in history, Newfoundland was not part of Canada and was in fact still part of the British Empire, right? I think they only came to Canada in 1967. Not 100% sure on that anyway. So an event happened earlier, much like in history. The British ceded power of Iceland to the Americans, and I imagine they did it so that they could get destroyers, right? Something like that. Anyway, Europe. We're going to zoom in a little here on Europe, because things are a little crazy. So right now we have the Soviet-occupied zone of Germany. Yeah, that's this nation here. We have the People's Republic of Poland, established by Stalin, of course. People's Republic of Romania, yeah. We've got Hungarian Socialists. We've got the People's Republic of France. Oh my God, watching the Soviets just storm through Europe while I was in Japan was ridiculous. I was very, very concerned. We still do have Spain down here. Spain is relatively untouched at this time anyway, right? We can zoom in on her. Not too bad. Britain up here, Britain is at war with the Soviets, right? So basically what happened is the Soviets came into Europe, pushed and took all of this, and then started making these little nations, and Britain and the States didn't like that very much, so they declared war. They sure did. You can see actually that right here, the States have made a landing in the Mediterranean, right? They came up through, made a landing there. The States did have a bit of a landing over here in Greece, but it seems like it's been stopped. The Soviets came in and stopped it. No surprise there. Right here, interesting to note actually. I found this quite interesting. Zooming in here on the northern coast of France, right? We can see Calais and Dunkirk. Most importantly, Calais. So this is a British push, because Britain's right here, right? So the British pushed across. I should say the Allies pushed across the channel here, landed in Calais, which I thought was amazing because this was the point that Hitler assumed the Allies would land naturally, because it's the closest point, right, to Britain. That's where they chose to land in this game. I thought that was crazy. Anyway, the British are pushing through. I don't expect this bridgehead to hold. I mean, the Soviets, come on. The Soviets are just massive. Finland, I'm pretty sure Finland is part of the Soviets. The People's Republic of Norway, obviously the Soviets took that, right? Sweden, I think Sweden is still on its own, frankly, and so is Switzerland. So that is what's going on in Hearts of Iron. You can see the Soviets as we move into Asia, my sort of domain. Yeah. Just I have all this crap to deal with here. To be totally honest with you, I've been talking about this with my roommate, actually. He and I both love this game. We play a lot of it. If any of you guys want to play it, I highly suggest you take a look at it. You can buy any of the versions of Hearts of Iron series in the Steam Steam store, right? And they're all relatively cheap, so no big deal there. Anyway, I've been talking about this with my roommate. Japan at this point in time, myself being Japan, is fighting basically a losing war. There's no way that I'm going to be able to attack Russia and the States at once, right? Because right now I'm fighting a battle technically on three fronts. Or sorry, on two fronts right now. I'm fighting the British, if we were to zoom in, because you notice I've annexed China. China's mine. Yes, I came in here and I just took it all. And these are just partisans, no big deal. But anyway, over here, the British, right? This is sort of moving into India, Rangoon down here, Thailand, yeah, or Siam, sorry. We've got the French Indo-Chinese Union. Now, they are a puppet of mine, so I control them. But the British, I'm fighting the British over here, trying to hold them off. It's fairly difficult. I did lose quite a few armies trying to do it, and it's because I don't have, as Japan in this game, I did not focus on building an army, right? I focused on my navy. We will take a look at the navy, but I focused on navy, not really concerned with my army. So here I only have 43 divisions noted up here to actually defend this, and I've been trying to push through because frankly I want India. India is a jewel, and if you notice up here, these are my resources, right? Energy, metal, we've got rare materials, we've got oil, we've got supplies, and then I have money. So if you notice, my money is desperately low. This is a huge situation for me, actually, and I've been struggling with it. But other than that, I mean, my supplies, I don't have very many. I know that for a lot of you, this is your first time seeing this game, potentially, but these supplies up here, this is not a lot. Another issue I've been facing a lot is because I've taken China. So think of China in the 1930s, because this is when I was doing this. I've had China for a while now, but think of China in the 1930s, right? The infrastructure of that country isn't that great at that time. So what I mean by infrastructure is each individual province denoted by these little lines here, right? This is your infrastructure value. How quickly, the level of infrastructure in the province, i.e. the condition of the roads and the railroads. And the higher the number, the easier it is for land troops to travel through the province, right? So when you take a unit, I don't control that guy. If I were to take this guy and I wanted him to go to there, for example, see it plotting his course for him. This is how he's going to get to where I want him to go, and he is taking this route based on the best options in terms of infrastructure. That's right. Damn it, Dakar. In terms of infrastructure, right? So path of least resistance. That's how he's going to get there. In addition to this, my infrastructure also affects my supply. How quickly can I get supplies up to my frontline troops? For example, these guys over here. How quickly can I do that? Now, in this case, it's a little different because I have sea supply, right? I have my supply lines coming into Hanoi, and then they're dispersed from Hanoi. Up here, like when I first started attacking China through Manchukuo, yeah, and I did press the international community to recognize Manchukuo, damn it. Anyway, yeah, so I was being supplied through Port Arthur, right, to get my supplies down to my troops and whatnot. So infrastructure is huge, and overall, you can see up here my overall transport capacity, which is a direct influence of your IC, which is your industrial capacity, and your infrastructure. Yes, so I'm over it, right? I have less infrastructure, or sorry, less transport capacity than my need, or my need for it is right now, and it's because I'm moving a lot of troops in and amongst China. Plus, don't forget, I'm the Japanese, so I've been island hopping through the Pacific, right? So here's the one front I've been fighting on. It against the British. I'm trying to get in here to India, but it's going slow. Now, I do have the British blockaded in Singapore. I haven't actually mounted my assault on Singapore yet. I've been waiting for that because first, Hong Kong must fall. Yes, Hong Kong is still here. It was a tragic mistake to keep this here. I'm actually fighting a battle right now for Hong Kong. It's paused. I'm actually going to lose the battle because my organization level isn't high enough. They've been fighting it for quite some time. But just to give you guys a sense of what a battle would look like, it's over here on the left. We're circling it. So here is, you know, my army, my commander. I've got Field Marshal Tsuchikata. We don't have a picture for him. There was no historical picture for this gentleman, unfortunately. He's fighting Patton. Oh yeah. The Americans brought in Patton to defend Hong Kong. Unfortunately for the Americans, I took, just pop down here, I took the Philippines. Yes, the Philippines are under Japanese rule, thank God. Well, fantastic. But it was actually a bit of a fight here for the Philippines. I managed to take it. The Dutch aren't actually at war. This is crazy. They're neutral, and I'm not willing to declare war on them. We'll talk about that in a minute. But anyway, I get so sidetracked. Yes, Hong Kong. So this is where they were attacking, or where I'm attacking, where they're held out. Let's take another look though at the battle. You know, if you scroll through, you can see all my units that are attacking, right? These are all Marines. These little symbols here are their brigade attachments. So I've got Marines 1940 with some artillery support. These Marines 1940, they are with, oh, these might be 1943, but anyway, with light amphibious tanks. Yes, it's pretty awesome, I know. And then we've got some normal troops running down here, and then in terms of what the Allies have, they do have, this is a garrison force, right? They have some Marines. The Americans brought in, these are the Canadians. Look at this. The Canadians brought in a bunch of armor, which is very surprising. Well, I guess the Americans did too. But I'm laughing because I know how weak Canada is, and how much they must have invested into these tank divisions. And they're just gonna die once I pull my shit together and actually take Hong Kong. And then some motorized troops and some more troop, right? So we've got to take those guys. Now, like I said, I have the Philippines. We took what the British had over here just because they have the provinces have some really good resources, rare materials, which I need, and oil I obviously need. Yes, the Dutch, they are they are neutral. Yeah, when the where are they over here? When the Soviets swept through Europe, the Dutch sort of, I mean, the Soviets obviously took them, right? But the Dutch didn't really do anything about it. And in this game, no, I'm wrong. Yes, I'm wrong. In this game, the Dutch East Indies are different than the Dutch. Yeah, so the Dutch don't exist, Dutch East Indies do. But why I mentioned I wasn't able to, or I didn't want to declare war on these guys, because it raises my belligerence amongst the world powers. I know I'm at war with everyone right now. We're talking about it and I'm explaining it, and I've actually just convinced myself to go ahead and do it. Yeah, so we're gonna do that. Not right now, but shortly here. Anyway, into the Pacific. So Okinawa, we've got Iwo Jima right here, right? It's a tiny island, but they magnify for you. And Iwo Jima is actually split into 3 separate zones. We've got Mount Suribachi, we've got the Central Zone, and then we've got Motoyama. Yeah, I've got some troops here, some Marines. They're just sort of hanging out right now, waiting on stuff. I just landed and retook Peleliu. The Americans like to come in and take things from you. Not surprising. So I do have troops against that. My main base of operation right now in the Pacific is in Truk. Out of Truk here, it's where I've been operating a lot of my fleets. We can see one fleet here right now. This is a heavy cruiser fleet, basically. So these are cruiser level 5s. They're Takao class, right? So if we click on them, you can see the little historical picture of them here, but what I like most of all is if you click on this, we can view the ships that this individual ship has sunk. So this individual ship has sunk this transport. So fantastic, good show, buddy. And that's over the course of the life of the ship, right? That's another thing to keep in mind, the course of the life. So Truk is my main operating base. Now, the Americans did land and take this crazy place, but I'm not too concerned about it. My big major bases of operation right now in this sector is Truk. I've got some naval forces in terms of submarines positioned out of Woje. so I've got a garrison there to protect it. And then Iwataka, I also use, or rather want to keep this island just in case. If one were to go down, I wanted to have the option of two, because if I have all of my naval forces coming into one port, say at one time, trying to repair, resupply, it is just going to cause havoc on my convoy system, and my convoy system is under constant attack right now by the Allies. So I'm trying to work as fast as I can through the Pacific to get rid of their bases. So what that means is, now just to let you know my strategy here, you'll notice that I don't have Rabaul, right? Historically, the Japanese took Rabaul. This was one of their major ports of operation during the early Pacific campaign. So I don't have it yet. I want it, obviously. So I do have plans in place to get some Marines down, take Rabaul, and then once I have Rabaul, obviously conquer this whole area. So Guadalcanal is still under the control of the United Kingdom, so we're going to take all of this area, all of this land, and then obviously we need to go and take Australia. Need to take Australia for a number of reasons, mainly all of these little ports and air bases the Allies can operate out of and harass my shipping lanes. I don't need it. So we need to take this whole section here basically. A little over to the east in the Pacific, I have been busy over here as well. So I did take Wake, I did take Midway, here it is, and I am planning the assault on Pearl Harbor. I did not choose to take the historical route with Pearl Harbor and attack that in 41, maybe? Yes, 42. I don't know. That's terrible that I don't know. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. But anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't decide to go that route. I wanted to work my way up, right? The eventual and ultimate goal of taking Pearl Harbor is one of two things. One is to have it to deny the Americans any sort of land out in the Pacific, right? Deny them that. The second goal is it would be an excellent mustering base for the eventual landing on the east coast of the United States. This is Japan's ultimate goal when you're playing these hard-firing games. At least it always was for me. This is what I always tried to do. But this one's going to be different because there's the big Soviet question. I'm not at war with the Soviets, but I don't imagine it's going to take a whole lot for them to declare war on me, frankly. So that's sort of the lowdown of what's going on right now. You might have noticed a few of my fleets about. The game is paused right now, right? I'm not letting it go forward because you'll see a lot of things go on. So we're going to take a look at some of my fleets, what they are doing. Oh yes, this fleet. So this is actually my most advanced fleet right now. It's filled with carriers. You can see them here. These are level 5 carriers. So these are Tahoe class. Now in World of Warships, this would be a tier 9 carrier, is what these guys got. My air carrier group, these are always getting upgraded based on the technology that I have, the technology level that I have. You can see them here. They are A6 M20s, and I have Val B5N Kates, right? So, oh, sorry, D3A Vals. I have the B5N Kates, and then the A6 M20s are the planes that I've got. Now this individual ship does also have some other modifications to her. I put some extra AA guns on her, I gave it radar, and as well I improved the hull. Because in this game, your aircraft carriers are your most important naval ship out of anything by far. And you can see that I have built a bunch of them in this one fleet alone. This is the 2nd Cruiser Division. Now it starts calling them 2nd Cruiser Division when they run out of names for them. So I built so many cruisers at this point, it doesn't have a name. This is a Cruiser 7. It's considered a modern heavy cruiser, and that's a little picture from it. Yes, I did use this picture the other day as the thumbnail for one of my videos. That's where I get a lot of the pictures, actually. There's a lot of information in this game. And then we go down, more cruisers. We're moving into light cruisers and destroyers. Some of my destroyers, it was interesting. It's interesting to note the class of destroyers, right? Just proving that there's a lot more ships that could be added in World of Warships. For example, this is my most, like I was saying, my most strong fleet here with all of my carriers circling around. Anyway, what this fleet does is it goes to the western coast of the United States. She does naval combat patrol up and down the coast and kills and sinks anything at all that she can do. I have another carrier group over here that goes up and does the same thing in and around Alaska, Dutch Harbor, all those places, making sure that there's no American shipping coming in to attack me. Obviously, we're patrolling this area here as well, and then I've been harassing the Australians with the heavy cruiser divisions you saw down here, attacking them, sinking their ships. I'm pretty sure that I've almost completely eliminated the Australian and New Zealand navies. The American Navy, I've sunk a lot of her ships. Let's find one of my more experienced ships here, the Shuikaku. No. Yeah, that's crazy. The Shuikaku never actually sank anything yet, and I find that so crazy. The Zuikaku, I don't think this is... let's check out. No. They could be repairing. See, some of my fleets did take damage, and I had to have them repair. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Ah, the Akagi. Yes. That's the one. This Akagi. Now, I have this carrier. This is a level 1 carrier. I've had it since the game started, and my game started in 1933. And in her entire history, life service so far, all of the ships she has sunk. We're taking a look at them now. We're taking a look. See, the Akagi sank the Arizona. Yep. Managed to pull that off. It was amazing. Who are these? I don't know what... Ugandans, maybe? An allied nation. Anyway, they sent sail ships after me. Yeah, sunk those with this carrier. The Akagi also sunk the USS Ranger. Number of transports, like cruisers, more like cruisers. Yeah, see another battleship, the Idaho. Sunk that thing. And that's just the Akagi. The Kaga, similar story. The list isn't as long, obviously, but you know, some big ships here on the list that these aircraft carriers have managed to sunk. I've got my Nagato out and about as well. The Nagato is doing quite well at taking out transports, as you can see, because the Allies, you know, are relentless. The computer is relentless. They will always try, and that's the funny story behind this island. So this island is actually Soviet. It used to be Soviet territory. And what the Americans were doing was somehow they would get like 1 or 2 transports in, they would land here, and then they'd take this whole island, right? So then I'd have to come take back my land, I'd take back that land, and then because I don't want to piss off the Russians, I'd give it back to them, right? You'd just, here, take it, it's yours. And everything was fine. Well, I got tired of doing that because the Americans did it a number of times. So what I decided to do was just take my part back, leave that. The Americans want it so bad, let them have it. I'm not concerned about it right now. Fairly risky because it's, you know, main island, really close to it, but whatever. So that's just sort of the outlook on the global situation right now, right? That's what's going on at this time. I am holding my own, but from a strategic standpoint, at this point in time, it's almost like we're fighting a war of attrition right now, and this is a war that I and Japan will not win, cannot win. Japan is probably one of the harder nations, one of the harder major nations to play in this game. Now, obviously, there's a whole lot more going on in this game, so we're going to briefly take a look at this as well. We're going to flip over up here. You notice some tabs right now. I'm looking at the map, the overall map. There's an intelligence function. The only time I use my intelligence function is to increase intelligence funding, and what that does is it prevents other nations from spying on me, stealing my blueprints, this sort of stuff. But right now I'm in such a bind for cash that I've actually been decreasing the funding because I can't afford it right now, yeah. But I mean, depending on the number of spies and the stuff that I have in the country, right, which is denoted by the numbers over here, it'll give me a rough idea of how many infantry divisions they have, what they may currently be researching, that sort of stuff. Just picked Canada. But anyway, technology. This is probably the place where you spend a lot of time thinking, because this is the most important place where you're going to be actually planning out your overall strategy, right? How are you actually going to get those jet bombers that you want, or how are you actually going to get, in my case, those awesome aircraft carriers that I want and need? You need to plan this stuff out. So under the industrial tab, you'll find things that increase your industry output, obviously production and construction, your assembly lines, material sciences. Like right now I'm researching plastics, which is awesome because it'll do 5% to the total efficiency of my industrial capacity, which is great. Radar is huge. This is going to determine, you know, whether or not your ships, whether or not your units your bombers, your air units are going to be able to actually detect the enemy, right? So you got to work your way through radar as well. I mean, and you can see it too when you hover over it. It gives you a little like a suggestion as to when this was historically implemented, so it keeps you kind of online, so you can say, well, it's 1945, I need to research my 1945 technology, basically, right? Cryptography and computers. Computers obviously very important for increasing your research capacity. Cryptography is important because it'll reduce the chance of the enemies being able to detect how many units you have across the border, and decryption, so that's your encryption ability, so that we see up here. Your decryption ability is how well can you intercept the enemy messages and figure out how many enemy forces are opposing you in the opposite province, right? So we've got that whole mechanic happening as well in the background. Your agriculture, this is going to influence your manpower growth, so obviously you want high manpower because you need them as soldiers. Your medicine, again, we'd be looking at manpower. Nuclear, so Japan in this game, I haven't researched any nuclear stuff at all, but you can build bombs, you can build nuclear bombs, but if you build nuclear bombs, you have to be able to, one, have the industry to support it to do that. You have to either have a heavy strategic bomber that can actually you can actually load a nuke into to take off and drop on someone, or you need the rocket technology with the proper rockets to be able to mount a nuclear warhead in it and shoot that at your enemy, right? So there's some things to take in consideration. It's a massive undertaking for any country, any nation, to actually build up a nuclear capacity. I chose not to do it because I'm Japan. Simple reason. Equipment, so custom equipment is just adding extra modifiers to my infantry equipment. So, you know, sturdy equipment. My infantry guys will be better at fighting in the mountain. Tropical equipment, they're better at fighting in jungles. Same thing for vehicles, right? Alright, so industrial. Now, infantry. Obviously, this is where you're going to research all of your infantry, so whether it's just normal infantry, mountain infantry, marines, airborne, motorized, mechanized, cavalry. Your engineers are important, and then of course logistics, right? Supplying and repairing those guys, very important. Moving into armor and artillery, so you do have your light tanks, your medium tanks, your heavy tanks, armored cars, tank destroyers. Field artillery, you got to keep this upgraded so that you are fighting with the most latest equipment when it comes to you know, taking out your enemies. Whether you want self-propelled artillery, your anti-air defense, your AA brigades, self-propelled AA brigades, yeah, self-propelled rocket artillery, anti-tank artillery, and just normal rocket artillery. I know, there's a lot. In the naval section, naval tab here, now I put a lot of work into my Navy. As you can see, I have a lot research in here. Everything in my Navy is either up to date or beyond its date. The only thing I didn't go with are my battle cruisers. I just didn't see the need to maintain a battle cruiser presence when my whole idea behind my fleets is to have fast carrier fleets. So for my fast carrier fleets, I want carriers, light cruisers, destroyers, and heavy cruisers. Some battleships, but they are not important. Not as important. Anyway. So light cruisers, you can see my battleships, battle cruisers. These are the super heavy battleship options. Heavy cruisers, ASW equipment. So this is anti-submarine warfare, obviously, which I haven't researched. I know it is bad. So my destroyers, submarines. I don't research submarines. There's no need for submarines. Meh. Light carriers, aircraft carriers, torpedoes, and your troop transports. Yes, aircraft. Now, in this game, because I focus so heavily on my naval units and on my Navy, I didn't do any Air Force at all, basically. The only thing in my under the air tab here that I've been keeping up is my air carrier group. I've been upgrading them as needed, and my multi-role fighters I've been kind of working on. Now, I went multi-role fighters as opposed to interceptors because the multi-role fighters have better range, and I need the range when fighting in the Pacific because there are a limited number of air bases and it takes time to build new air bases, and I might not necessarily have that time. I haven't really researched any bombers at all. It's such an industrial investment to do it, and I needed that industry for my Navy, so didn't do it. Let's see what else. Land doctrines. You need to have proper land doctrines in order to be able to fight effectively on the ground. My land doctrines aren't too bad. The Japanese don't get fantastic land doctrines, basically. but you can see I worked my way down through central planning, infiltration assault, and then infiltration in depth. And then as well you have your hospital systems over here, which is really important because it'll reduce any attrition your troops may be taking, and it's trickle-back modifier as well. This is how quickly are your reinforcements going to be able to, or sorry, trickle-back is how quickly are your troops going to be able to trickle back to your friendly province if you lost the battle, right? Because then those troops retreat back, and during that retreat you lose a considerable number of troops, and then once they reach there, you know, then you have to replace them with your replacements. But with this, I'll lose 2% less as you keep it going. Yeah. That's land doctrines. Now, secret weapons. Yeah, so we can take a look here. I am currently researching the Turbojet Engine. I want this to increase my rocketry. Now, with my rockets, I am going to have rockets. I don't have nuclear weapons, I know. I've been considering doing it. It'll be late game. This game actually will run into the 60s, I believe. So I still technically have like 20 years left to play here. So it'll run into the 60s if I survive, and at that time, or leading up to that time, I might have nukes. So I've been, you know, building up the old jet engines, getting rockets ready. Also researching computers, because again, this is a direct research modifier. Help me research faster. Naval doctrines, incredibly important for Japan, obvious reasons. I needed to get my carrier tactics way up there, right? So I'm almost at, I got the 45 level technology, and once I reach 48, we'll resume research on that. I didn't do any research in submarines because I don't have any submarines. I really should do more anti-sub patrol research, I believe. And yeah, I didn't really go down this line too much, but yeah, I probably should, because see, all it does is it increases the positioning of your ships, right? And this is important because you know, the person who engaged the enemy first is the one who's going to get to fire first, and all that lovely stuff, right? So yeah, amphibious warfare, we're all researched up on that, obvious, and logistical support, all researched up until 1955 is the last one I'm going to have to do. Air doctrines, didn't do a damn thing here. Yeah, not a whole lot. I really need to, because some of these do actually do direct increases to my air carrier groups, so I should, at least I think they did. Maybe they don't, but anyway, that's my overall research. That's under the technology. Now, under your economy tab, this is the tab that you are probably going to live on for a while, right? Because this is where everything happens. Industrial capacity. We're taking a look at it here. This is what is going to dictate what you can do with everything. I'm just locking these so I don't screw around with my sliders here. So I'm poor, right? We can see it here. Where's my money? Losing a bunch of money. In order to increase my money, I would need to increase my consumer goods, right? The need is only 14. But I have to put up to 41 into it just to make a little bit of money. In fact, I'm losing a little bit of money. Once I lose money and go to 0, I will no longer be able to research all these fine things. So that'll stop. So I need to figure this issue out, or at least mitigate the damage to this issue before it becomes, you know, a severe catastrophe for my nation. But anyway. So that means I have, you know, a limited number of points here. Essentially, I have 157 points that I need to spread out amongst the need of what I have here, right? And I, you know, I have 157. The need for upgrades is 280, so it's not going to happen. But it doesn't mean I need to not build things. So I am currently building things. This is under production. Under production, we can see all the things over here that I'm currently constructing. We've got some aircraft carriers, some light aircraft carriers, some light cruisers. I've got a battleship coming out. Yeah, the Shinano. What else do we have? Light cruisers, got another heavy cruiser on its way, and a destroyer. And then I have some normal infantry. Brigade attachment is some light armor, and artillery. That's what that symbol is there. And then on each one of these, you can see there are additional attachments that I've built for them. We'll take a look at that in a minute, actually. Supplies. So this is the need. So of the troops that I have out in the field, this is how many supplies they need in order to you know, meet their daily need. Now, I'm not at war. Well, I am at war right now, but I'm not fighting on any major fronts right now. My troops are kind of well supplied as it is, so this number isn't necessarily that big right now, but it will go up. Reinforcements. This is obviously how many, you know, how much points you need to put in to make sure that your troops are 100% reinforced as fast as possible. So this is really important as well to keep in mind. But with my situation, I really don't have the IC to spare right now, which is kind of sad. I mean, obviously there's a lot in supplies that I can deal with and that I can use. We'll take a look at that. Anyway, upgrades. This is, you know, how much industry capacity I need to put into upgrading my current equipment to the most up-to-date models. I'm so behind on my upgrades because I had to commit so much to my actual Navy, right? That it's just insane. Anyway, that is our economy. Let's take a look at diplomacy. I don't really use the diplomacy a whole lot. Actually, screw diplomacy. I wanted to show this. So in here, this is where we can produce stuff, right? Our flotilla, our air wing, and our division. Now our flotilla, I think this would be most interesting to you guys, since, you know, we all know and love ships here. These are the options that I get for making destroyers, right? So right now I can make an advanced destroyer. It's a DD9, level 9 destroyer, and then over here you have its stats, right? How far it can go, how far it's detected, firing distances, what an air attack is, its convoy, sea attack, the morale of the crew, all of that stuff right there. We've got different classes. They always show on this list that you can build, they always show the best one and then the one just below it. Other models are considered obsolete and therefore you can't build them, because why would you want to? So this is the other one, the Atziki class maybe? The one before this actually was the Kagero, which I thought was cool. We have our light cruisers, an advanced light cruiser, and then we have the Agano class light cruiser. Yeah, I've never heard of that. Anyway, moving on, we do have our modern heavy cruisers. We saw those a while ago, and then under that is the Tone class of cruiser. We do have our battle cruisers, but as you know, I didn't really keep up the technology with them, so it's just an interwar battle cruiser right now. And then the one below that is the Amagi class battle cruiser, which we see at tier 8 in our game. World Warships, semi-modern battleship is what we have here. And then the number 13 class battleship was what I had before that. I do have Escort Carriers, CVEs, as well. So I have these Escort Carriers. They're pretty cool. They're really cheap and really fast to make, right? I can make it in less than a year. It doesn't require a whole lot of IC. I can attach some attachments to it. The problem is there's no dedicated air group with this ship, so it makes its air attack really weak. But this is still a good option, especially for a nation like Japan to have. Excuse me, below that was the Taiho class, or Taiyo class, anyway. Improved light carrier. The CVLs, and so you can see your CVLs can hit the attachment, and once it's attached, right, your attack goes up considerably, which is nice. But they do cost, you know, a lot, many more days to make, over 2 years to make, and a lot more IC as well to produce. Under that, the Cheatnese class. We've got our modern carrier. This is my carrier level 6 that I have now, which is fantastic, and then my carrier level 5, which is the Tahoe. And then we work into some of my subs here, which are kind of crazy. I've got this heavy sub. It can have a scout plane. Look at that. Yeah, I know. It's freaky. I had one. It got sunk. I'm not willing to build another one, but it was cool while it was there. My air wings, so you can see, like I said, I didn't do a whole lot in terms of air research. I still have biplanes in terms of interceptors. INT stands for interceptor. This is my most current multi-role fighter. I have been keeping these ones up to date, so it's the N1K2 George, is what the Americans would have called it. I have the Mitsubishi Tactical 6, yeah. Looks pretty sad, doesn't it? My naval bomber, strategic bomber, and my transport. Fantastic. In the divisions, we have some things going on here. So I do have Infantry 45, which also gives you Garrison 45, and your Militia 42, which is fantastic. I have Mountain 1930. I didn't really research any mountain infantry, didn't see the need. What I did see the need for were Marines. So obviously Marines 1943. There we go. That is up. I've got some motorized. I'm going to actually have to get these guys upgraded more before I actually produce and deploy them on the field. Here are my light tanks. They are the Type 98 Kini, K-E-N-I, I don't know. We have the Type 3 Chinu as my medium tank here. This for now. For now, anyway. Down here, you can see all the different attachments that I can attach to each brigade, or sorry, to each division. So, like, for example, if I had an armored division, I'd probably want to give them self-propelled artillery or tank destroyers, something that could keep up with them. Interesting to note, though, I can have these medium tanks and give them some light tanks in support, some armored cars in support, some anti-air, some engineering, or even some additional medium tanks in support, right? But you'd be looking at 24 IC. So obviously Japan does not have any tanks at this point in time. Over here, I can build actual flak guns that you can position in each different province. I can build radar stations. I can't build nuclear because I don't have that option. I can build a rocket test site, 10 IC. Those pretty big investment for me right now. Here is my convoy and my escorts. I can build more of those. Speaking of convoys and escorts, when I was talking about how I was getting raped by my shipping was getting raped by the Allies, you can see it here. Like, I am not able to fund anything here in green is fully, you know, fine, no big deal. Anything in white is at risk of coming under attack or is either missing some ships. Anything in red is a convoy that is just not running because there are no ships to take it there. I've got a few of them, and it's mostly because the Americans and British have just been, you know, completely obliterating my ships, and I haven't had the ICE to actually rebuild any new ones. What I have been thinking about, though, and what this game does offer you, we'll click on, maybe, does it offer it? No, you're a light cruiser, it won't offer it, but with my destroyers, yeah. So with your destroyers, and some of the older ships too, there's a button down here, I can convert this destroyer to 5 convoy escorts, which would immediately affect my convoy system and help it out. I haven't been doing it though, because I've been able to get by so far, and that's a big thing right now, especially when you're playing Japan. I find you just have to push it to the envelope as far as you possibly can in order to see, you know, whether or not you can actually pull off victory. So, that being said, I'm gonna have to take a drink of water, I'm sorry. That being said, that is where I find myself with Japan. Now I know that's a whole lot of information taken at once. It took me probably about 2 months to learn this game. I started playing it way back in high school, playing it ever since. Not this specific game, but iterations of it, right? Like, this is Darkest Hour, there's an original Hearts of Iron, there's Hearts of Iron 2, which is awesome, Armageddon is a great one, Doomsday is a great one. This is Darkest Hour, a Hearts of Iron game. This is probably my favorite, and there's also Hearts of Iron 3, but Hearts of Iron 4 is coming out this year. Yes, it is. Anyway, I said we'd probably show off some gameplay. We'll just unpause it and see what happens. I mean, I can't remember what I was doing. A lot of things are going to start popping up here. You can see we're on pause, right? It's just your daylight, sunset, and sunrise. Over here, we can select, you know, whether or not I want it to be extremely fast, very slow, or on normal. I'm going with normal because, you know, crap's happening right now. The most interesting thing that I've been watching out for, yeah, the British over here, right? I knew it. See, the British are pushing through with 9 divisions. They are going to take out these guys, and then they might be able to take this province. If they take this province, then my troops over here are completely cut off. So it presents a bit of an issue. We're going to pause it. And this is what I love so much about the game, right? Because you got to pause, you got to think about your strategy here. So, I mean, if the British do take this province, and it looks like they are going to, I don't think I'm going to be able to hold on. You know, because if I reinforce, even over here, we're fairly, we're not, it's not that bad, but they have some armor. Right in here as well, this is where your encryption and decryption comes into play, right? I can see 1 and then question mark, meaning that my intelligence isn't exactly sure what is there, but they know that there's something there. It's, yeah, I know. Fairly obvious, guys. Thank you. Yeah, they're gonna lose. Only militia and cavalry. See, what I'm grappling is, do I want to send guys from this province to here, to this province, and, you know, stop this push, or do I just want to abandon this province for now, reinforce here, let everyone regroup, and then retake that province? Because the British are not allied with Siam. Siam isn't allied with me. so I don't have to worry about Siam right now anyway. That's my hope. If Siam decides to backstab me, well, then that'll be a whole different story. We can see as well over here the battle with Patton is continuing. We're actually just going to let that play out. So I do have them encircled, but see, the green bar is your organization. If you don't have any organization, you're not going to be able to continue the fight. The beigeish bar, that is the actual health, the overall strength of the unit. So you can see that my troops don't necessarily have a whole lot of... There we go, we lost the battle. Yeah, so we'll take a look at that. Yeah, okay, this is some attacks. Oh, look at this. One of my fleets sunk the USS Brooklyn. We'll take a look at that. Where is this? That's over here, so that's great. More US ships getting sunk, right? That is what we want. Maybe it was actually the Shuikaku? No. Didn't get our first kill. I got the Yamato in this fleet as well. It's not actually a Yamato class, no. I didn't actually build any heavy, super heavy battleships, but this one was given the name Yamato. Anyway, we'll go to Singapore, or Hong Kong. So Hong Kong was a loss, obviously, right? These are the damages that I incurred versus the Allies. Now, I was supporting them from the land. I had these troops. What is going on? We're going to unpause that because I want those guys. Oh. Maybe they'll go there? Oh, wow. That sucks. I'm pretty sure I had more than 4 divisions with those guys, so that kind of sucks because I think that means that they're all dead now. That is great. That's great. Japan can absorb such losses, as I'm sure you're aware, hearing my spiel a while ago. Oh, great. Alright, well then that makes that fairly easy then. So these guys are going to retreat. We're going to hold up right here, and then we'll push back and take that province. What I've been trying to do is take this province, to be totally honest with you, because if I can take this province, then everyone from these 3 provinces can go in and take it. And if they go in and take it, then you know that's... I only have to defend these 3 provinces, essentially blocking the British there and giving me the choice as to when I want to attack. So really interesting stuff here. Anyway, looking at my watch, I think we went a little long. I do think we went a little long, but whatever. Ooh. Now what this means is that I intercepted an American transport, right? And on that transport was the US 2nd Corps. And they're all dead now because they sunk at sea. Fantastic. Good show, guys. Anyway. So this is Hearts of Iron. I finally figured it out. We're going to get this video up. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you want to see more of this series, or you know, I would prefer myself actually to start a new game as opposed to continue this Japanese game going, because like I say, it's going to be an uphill battle here. But if you guys say no, and you know you want Japan to keep going, then I'll keep going. Anyway, just let me know what you guys think. Thanks for tuning in. As always, enjoy the rest of your day.